It was a bright morning in the small town of Willow Creek. Birds chirped outside the windows, and the streets were quiet. Rachel Carter stood in the kitchen, stirring a pot of oatmeal for breakfast. She looked out the window and saw her 10-year-old daughter, Emily, playing in the front yard. Emily was laughing and running around, chasing their dog, Max. Rachel smiled. Emily was her only child, and she loved her more than anything in the world. "Emily, breakfast is ready," Rachel called. Emily ran inside, her cheeks red from the cold autumn air. She sat at the table and began eating her oatmeal. "Mom, can I go to the park after breakfast? Max wants to play fetch," she said, stroking the dog's fur. Rachel hesitated. "Okay, but stay close to the park, and don't forget your jacket." Emily grinned. "Thanks, Mom. I'll be careful." After breakfast, Emily put on her favorite red jacket and grabbed Max's leash. Rachel watched as they walked down the street toward the park. She felt a small pang of worry, but shook it off. Willow Creek was a safe town. Everyone knew everyone, and nothing bad ever seemed to happen there. Hours passed, and Rachel kept busy cleaning the house. Around noon, she glanced at the clock and realized Emily had been gone for a long time. She expected her to come back for lunch. Rachel picked up her phone and called Emily's number, but there was no answer. Maybe she's just having fun and lost track of time, Rachel told herself. She decided to walk to the park to check on her. When she got to the park, Rachel's heart sank. The park was empty. There was no sign of Emily or Max. Rachel's chest tightened as she looked around. She called Emily's name, her voice echoing through the trees. "Emily! Emily, where are you?" But there was no response. Within an hour, officers arrived at Rachel's house. Officer Daniels, a kind man with gray hair, asked Rachel to tell him everything she knew. "She went to the park with our dog, Max, around 9 this morning. She was wearing a red jacket. I haven't seen her since," Rachel said, her voice shaking. "We'll do everything we can to find her," Officer Daniels assured her. He called for backup, and soon, police cars and search teams spread out through the town. Volunteers from the neighborhood joined in, searching the park, the woods, and nearby streets. Max's leash was found near the edge of the park, but there was no sign of Emily. As night fell, Rachel sat by the phone, waiting for news. She couldn't eat or sleep. Her mind raced with fear. Where was Emily? Was she safe? Rachel couldn't stop thinking about her daughter's smile and laughter that morning. It felt like a lifetime ago. The next morning, there was still no news. Rachel decided she couldn't just sit and wait. She printed out flyers with Emily's photo and started handing them out around town. "Have you seen this girl?" she asked everyone she met. Some people shook their heads sadly, while others promised to keep an eye out. Rachel's hope began to fade as the hours turned into days. One afternoon, while Rachel was walking near the woods, Max suddenly appeared. The dog was muddy and limping, but alive. Rachel's heart leaped. "Max, where's Emily?" she cried, kneeling down to hug him. Max barked and began tugging at her sleeve, as if he wanted her to follow him. Rachel's pulse quickened. "Show me Max. Take me to Emily," she said. Max led Rachel into the woods, weaving through trees and bushes. After what felt like forever, Rachel heard a faint voice. "Mom?" Tears streamed down Rachel's face as she ran toward the sound. She found Emily sitting on the ground, her red jacket torn and dirty. She had a few scratches on her face but was otherwise unharmed. Rachel hugged her tightly, never wanting to let go. "I got lost," Emily said, her voice trembling. "Max stayed with me the whole time. He kept me warm." Rachel kissed her daughter's forehead. "You're safe now. That's all that matters." The police and search teams arrived soon after. Emily was taken to the hospital to be checked, but she was fine. Rachel learned that Emily had wandered off the park trail while chasing Max and couldn't find her way back. Max had stayed by her side the entire time, protecting her until help arrived. The town of Willow Creek celebrated when Emily was found. Rachel held her daughter close, promising never to let her out of her sight again. And every time she looked at Max, she felt a deep gratitude. He wasn't just their dog, he was a hero. From that day on, Rachel and Emily cherished every moment together. Life in Willow Creek returned to normal, but Rachel never forgot how fragile happiness could be. She learned to treasure the simple joys of life: a warm hug, a shared laugh, and the sound of her daughter's voice calling, "Mom." Weeks after the incident, Rachel decided to host a community event at the park to thank everyone who helped search for Emily. She organized a picnic and invited all the neighbors, police officers, and volunteers who had supported her. "This town is more than just a place to live," Rachel said during a short speech at the event. "It's a family. I can't thank you all enough for helping bring Emily back to me." Emily stood beside her mother, holding Max's leash. She smiled shyly at the crowd. "Thank you for finding me," she said softly. The crowd applauded, and Max barked, wagging his tail. That day, the park was filled with laughter and joy. Children played, neighbors shared stories, and Max became the star of the event. People took turns petting him and calling him a hero. For Rachel, it was a reminder of how strong a community could be when they came together. As the sun set over Willow Creek, Rachel and Emily walked home hand in hand, Max trotting happily beside them. The fears of those dark days were fading, replaced by gratitude and love. Rachel knew she would never take a single moment for granted again.